Hi, Latna, just testing audio. Muchas gracias.
Call meeting in order. Yeah. Pledge allegiance, please. Flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Director Hodges,
Here.
Director Rosen,
Here.
Director Hatcher,
Here.
Director Lamnan. Here. President Andrade.
Here.
Thank you.
Okay. The next section is public comments. These are for items that are otherwise not listed on the agenda. I have a card here for Christina Matheson, I guess about Little League. So you want to come up? Yeah.
Good evening. Thank you for having me and letting me speak. Let me introduce myself. My name is Christina Mathewson. I am a resident of Hayward, California. I have been here my whole life. My kids have grown up here now as well. I'm coming in representation for Tennyson American Little League and probably some of our little leagues here in Hayward that use your guys' fields and sites. I've had a couple things that have been happening. I've been on this board, on our board, for probably about 17 years, and this year has been my toughest year since. I wrote some things down. We've been struggling this season with our relationship with HARD, with some of your, I think, the scheduling and things like that, where we've done things with getting permits, kind of the same process. I mean, since I've been on that board, where we'll kind of do it in phases to try to keep the cost down all at one time. Little League season has ran the same season forever. There's been 2 occasions where we didn't get permitted and we had to change our main events. One field got completely used the entire season. Our most recent, I'm going to kind of rush because I see that clock. Our most recent thing that brought me here today is, as you guys know, Little League is nonprofit. We are nonprofit Little League. You guys changed your insurance policy for us. And now that change alone will be an additional $46.60 per year on top of what we already pay with. To be honest, I'm not sure. I could pull it up and let you know it. When I called down to Little League of America and I had a conversation with them, they said that they think that we're like the only area that's doing that change to I think it's the 2 million, 4 million policy, and they only offer a 5 million. It goes 1, 4, and then I think a 5 million, which the 5 million would be the 4,600. That's devastating for us, and especially in our demographic. That's an additional $65 or $70 on top of the fee that the parents already pay, and they struggle to pay. We're the lowest in the Little League, and they struggle to pay the $120. So that would be $200 just about to play. So I don't know how to move. And then I was told that if we don't do that, they won't permit us for the upcoming event. So fall ball will start in August. Fall ball starts in August, September. Yes.
Okay. Are you complete or?
Oh no, I'm looking at the time. I'm sorry.
I'm going to give you 30 more seconds.
Okay. So with that part alone, that's scary for us because I don't know where we're going to just come up with that money. Obviously, we do fundraisers and things like that, but being that we're a nonprofit, we can't enforce anything. You kind of have to let people do what they can and things like that. That's my main thing. The other things are things that, I was a little frustrated, which brought me here today, is we had to change our closing day ceremony from the 31st to Sunday to yesterday, which was fine. And your Parks and Recs guy knew we were coming down. We have the field permitted and you guys left the big pile of trash in the middle of the park while we have our closing day ceremony. So I have all these families just looking at this big pile of trash in the middle of garbage, trash, black bags, garbage, trash in the middle. People are taking pictures and that's how we represent our community. So that park is literally 2 blocks from my house. I'm there 7 days a week. We're literally chasing out transients. I mean, we just get a bunch of riffraff now. There's a down fence, so we get all the riffraff from Mannon area and Huntwood that come over. We've had to go into the homeless encampment to get our supplies back that they've stolen out of our. It's been this season has probably been the toughest season that we've had. I've had some problems with the supervisors. With the safety, things like that. So that's other things that I could address at another time. But my big one is the insurance, and I just don't know if there's some way to.
So I'm going to refer this to staff and I'm sure they'll get back to us and hopefully we can work out an arrangement or something. That's all I can say about it. We can't take action on this item,
Got it.
but thank you for the information.
Okay, thank you.
Right.
President Andrade, we do have a hand raise online
Okay.
for public comment.
All right. Yeah. Can
Mimi
you
Dean?
put them on?
Yes. Mimi, please feel free to unmute.
Hi there. My name is Mimi Dean and I live in San Lorenzo, right by Kennedy Park and also close to the Mika State. So I just wanted to say this to all the board members and to the GM that I'm definitely a bit concerned about public safety in the parks. A couple of weeks ago, I was at Kennedy Park and these kids were riding around on electric bicycles and basically doing 20 miles an hour in the area with all the playground area, right? And very scary for me that someone's coming up to me on an electric bicycle and practically running me over. And then these kids were popping wheelies and being really dangerous around all the families and the little children and the moms with strollers, as well as, just the other people that were in the park. So I did try to call Hayward PD. I did make a call to the Rangers. Sadly, it was a shift change. I just wanted to let you know about that. And also at the Mika State, I've kind of experienced the same kinds of things, but in addition to the bicycles that, I got to tell you, it feels like these kids, I know they're kids, right? So they're like, their brains aren't fully developed and all that, but I just wish there was a way for us to maybe have some signage that's, bicycle safety rules or something, slow down, share the road, be careful, watch out for other people. There's these little kids that ride around in these little, they ride around in these like little tiny cars at the Mika State. And I was walking over there, and if I had turned around a split second sooner, I would have been hit by one of those little pink cars. So I don't know what we can do about it, but I felt like I wanted to come here and say, is there something we can do? That would be great. And then I have a comment that I want to say for my friend Randy Vaghi. Randy Vaghi loves the food trucks. They are no longer in San Lorenzo, the food truck mafia. And he would love to see those food trucks in the little oval area that used to be the tennis courts over at Kennedy Park and the McGonaghy House. So I don't know if there's any possibility of us having food trucks in Kennedy Park, but I thought I'd say it anyway. Thanks for listening, you guys. I really appreciate you. Have a good night.
Thank you. We're going to refer that to staff and see if there's something that we can work out. Okay. Any other items? Anything else from the public?
We have no one else online for public comment.
Okay. So with that, we're going to move on to the consent calendar. Consent calendar consists of approval of the minutes. Let's see if I can read all this. Um, Well, it's the award for a contract for a welfare replacement, um, resolution accepting the ABAG resolution, and approval of Robert Half, a change order to that contract, and revised recreation, revision to a job description for recreation supervisor. Anyone want to, well, anybody want to remove that or any of those?
I'm sorry, could we pull 6.4?
Okay, so the motion, well, so there's a request to pull 6.4, right? Any other requests? We have a motion to approve everything but 6.4.
Mr. President, I'll make a motion to approve 6.1, 6.2, 6.3, and 6.5.
Okay. Can I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, so it was moved by Director Hatcher and seconded by Director Hodges. So go ahead on 6.4. Oh, so let's vote first. All in favor? Yeah.
Right.
Okay, the motion carries unanimously. Director Rosen, please.
So I just had a quick question regarding the change order for of that 85,000.
I think it's a request to increase a purchase order, right?
Yes.
Okay, just making sure.
Yeah, yes, to increase it. So of that, it's 60,000 is for additional time, and then there's 25,000 in more materials, it sounded like. Could that be? I'm just curious about that.
That's, this is all staffing. Robert Half is a temporary staffing unit, and technology initiatives would be also part of the Wyatt and the setting up of the plan. So basically, as we've set up the ERP, we have had stretched staff pretty thin. Some of them are spending all their time setting up capital projects and figuring out how to do strings to track stuff and make it all talk. About 3.5 months ago, I went to the administrative services and finance staff and said, I don't care what you need. I need you to get enough people to make this happen because the end of the fiscal year is coming. It was, I think, 6 months late on the audit report because they're trying to make a brand new ERP system work with stuff that was 30 years old, and the crossover took so long. And so I got to a point where I just kind of looked and said, you know what, I need you guys to get the help you need to make this happen because it's starting to affect like our reporting of our audit reports to Standard & Poor's and Moody and the state. And so they used more resources, and because the initial PO was over my authority in the add-ons, we've come to you to request that money to get us to the end of the year. The good news is you approved the last position in finance, and as you know, if you paid attention to that report, we talked about that position will allow us not to use Robert Half anymore. But right now, we're just trying to get through the implementation and the budget pass and then everything, and so we've used extra help.
Yeah, I have no problem with I think that's great. I was just curious what the 25 grand in tech was that it didn't make sense to me. I was just,
Again, technology initiatives, there's people helping us on all sides. There's people helping us with software and computer systems. There's people helping us with the software of the finance side. So I'm sure it has to do with software ability to uptake, and we're working on the disaster recovery stuff right now too. But this is all part-time staffing. This is
Okay,
people,
so it's like
not,
tech
this is
support,
all,
not
this is all
technology.
people, not any supplies.
okay, that was what I was wondering. It makes sense. Thank you.
Okay, can I have a motion for that?
So moved.
Okay, motion to approve 6.4. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, motion was by Director Rosa and the second was by Director Hatcher. Please vote. Motion carries unanimously. Moving on to written communications, there are none. Public hearings, none. Unfinished business, none. So new business. Approval of a new LED screen, item 10.
You can dive in on this one?
Yeah. Sounds fun.
Good evening, excuse me, Honorable Board of Directors, Mike Mastroni, Recreation Manager. Agenda item summary for approval to purchase of Max 169 LED screen and trailer. So staff seeks approval to purchase a 16-foot by 9-foot LED screen and trailer to stream media for special events. Funding will come from the equipment fund. Staff seeks approval for the general manager to purchase the LED screen and trailer from Insane Impact LLC in the amount of $131,055. As a result of the Statistically Sound District-Wide Community Needs Assessment Survey that was concluded in January 2025, the district's Recreation, Arts, and Community Services Department will begin prioritizing larger community special events. Community events were identified as the top interest and unmet need for the district residents in regards to recreation programs and services. The purchase of Insane Impact's Max 169 LED screen and trailer would add an additional resource to the district's special event inventory. The screen would allow sporting, cultural, and important news events to be streamed for a large audience. It could be utilized to project live performance or promote upcoming events and programs. It can also act as an information resource for large crowds that might gather in parks during disasters. The screen will first be used at a World Cup finale watch party at the Omar Rodriguez Soccer Field in San Lorenzo Park on July 13th. The quote that staff received to rent an LED screen from a Bay Area rentals company was $14,340.40. Given the desire to bring district residents together through community building events like watch parties for the Olympics, World Series, NBA playoffs, and more, it was determined that an investment in an LED screen was the most cost-effective solution. And again, funds would come from the equipment fund. Staff seeks approval for the general manager to purchase the LED screen and trailer in the amount of $131,055.
Great. Any comments or questions? Director Lamnan?
Thank you. Appreciate this item coming forward, and I feel like I do need to ask, what's the difference sort of in functionality between this and the large inflatable screen that we have now?
The large inflatable, Jim Wheeler, General Manager, Honorable Board, the large inflatable screen is a rear projection LED screen that you can plug into like a DVD player to show a movie. This actually has a satellite uplink where we could show live events more so. It also, as indicated, has the capacity to not only be for events, but it can be an informational sign. And so were something tragic to happen and we had 400 people gathered in one of our parks because they're looking for shelter, they don't want to go home. A screen like this could also be used to show CNN, world news, local news, other things, and bring event information. It is very, very different from just being able to project a movie. It hooks into live TV and the other things and streams and computers and plugs that and it works in daylight, which the movie screens don't.
Thank you.
Any other comments or questions?
Yeah, Mr. President.
Yeah, Director Hatcher?
Yeah, and I appreciate the definition because when we saw the screen at one of the conferences, the multi-purpose duality of this screen in conjunction with our needs assessment, of events and being, bringing this to the community, it fulfills so many needs, and I appreciate the rental amount. So when you see how much, within probably in less than a year, this will not only pay for itself, it'll elevate the district's care and consideration for what the community has been asking for directly. And so the clarity of this is the most amazing component of it. I think that compared to the movie, there was actually no comparison. I really, when you look at what the size of it is in what it brings in technology, I'm really excited that, this kind of is moved forward to this point. So just good work for staff to bring this to us and looking forward to.
The biggest bummer is we could have left Palm Springs with that one for 60K if we had a truck,
Yeah.
right? They were gonna sell us the floor model.
Yeah, on site, you know, it's always cheaper when you're there to buy it.
Look,
So.
I feel, every day I try to tread a thin line. We bought a portable mobile stage. That stage can now keep the chamber from renting one for the Downtown Streets event. It'll keep Southland from renting one for the Mariachi Festival. You open it up, it shows our logo. People want community events. Now we start to get associated with things visually more than people have known we've done in the past. For me, if you've never been at Civic Center Plaza in San Francisco when they're showing the World Cup on a large screen, you haven't lived. This is as good as it could be to being in the stands in one of those 100,000 person coliseums with everybody rooting for their team. I look forward to the World Series. I look forward to the Little League World Series. I look forward to all kinds of things that we can stream with this to bring people. At the end of the day, my number one motivation for this is I would like to see 3,000 residents all sitting together in a park creating community. So here we are, asking you to consider this purchase.
It's great. Peter?
I think it's great.
Okay.
Current balance on the equipment replacement fund, because nobody asked, is $1.9 million of money we've been setting aside for new equipment and replacement equipment. So we feel like after 3 years of being frugal and making sure we had enough to replace a mower, a backhoe, or a bucket truck, maybe we should buy something fun.
Okay. Any other comments? So I just have a background question. Can we show movies on this as well?
Oh yeah, we showed it on.
I mean, would this,
Yeah, it has like a USB plug too.
so we could replace, the other screen with this one, right? For movies?
Do that too.
I don't-
Now we can loan the other screen out more than we've been like reluctant to people because we're not depending on it for 4 movies a year.
It's brighter and stuff. And the other thing is we have a place for it. I mean, we have a place to store it and maintain it.
Brown Ranch, we're getting ready to put a cover over the stage, a permanent cover, and we're gonna try to see if we can change that bit to include space for this. Ideally, honestly, I think I'm gonna build a metal building out there for the rock wall, the stage and this.
Okay.
So it can be secured and locked up. Chris and I are going back and forth on how we would actually do that, where we'd actually put it, but we're gonna have to.
Okay. Great.
I'll leave you a vote.
So I could, entertain a motion on this.
So move.
Moved by Director, Rosen,
Yeah, I'll second that.
second by Director Hatcher. No other comments or questions, please vote. Did everyone vote?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, the motion carries unanimously. Great, that's a fun one. And then, well, I don't know who staff is gonna report to this, 10.2. Okay, this is authorization to, item 10.2, 10.2, authorization to execute a memorandum of understanding for the Hayward Chamber of Commerce event support.
Good evening, President Andrade and Honorable Board of Directors. Nicole Espinosa-Roa, Assistant to the General Manager and Public Information Officer. Tonight, the board will consider authorizing the General Manager to execute an MOU with the Hayward Chamber of Commerce. The MOU will allow the district to formally support Hayward special events in 2025. The collaboration will foster community pride, provide meaningful recreational experiences, and showcase the district's commitment to public engagement and regional partnerships. Staff recommends the Board of Directors by motion authorize the General Manager to execute a memorandum of understanding between the Hayward Area Recreation and Park District and the Hayward Chamber of Commerce to provide financial and in-kind support for the 2025 Downtown Street Parties and Mariachi Festival. The Hayward Chamber of Commerce has organized community events in downtown Hayward, including the Downtown Street Parties and annual Mariachi Festival for over 20 years. These events foster local pride, support small businesses, and enhance community engagement. The Chamber has submitted a formal proposal requesting financial and in-kind support for the district to help produce the following 2025 community events: downtown street parties in June, July, and August, and the Mariachi Festival in fall. The district has reviewed the proposal and worked with the Chamber to develop a memorandum of understanding outlining the roles, responsibilities, and expectations of each party. The partnership aligns with the district's mission to enhance the quality of life for residents by supporting community engagement, recreation, and cultural events. The partnership hard support these events aligns the strategic plan goals and pursuant objectives. In 1.2, the district actively seeks out and incorporates the input of local communities in its program planning. 4.1, trusting and mutually beneficial collaborative partnerships are developed and maintained with the city, schools, and county nonprofits, contractors, and others. And there's a broad growth understanding the support for the district and its activities amongst the key and public stakeholders, recognizing the role of HARD in supporting these events, sharing HARD's information on program, services, and facilities at these events.
Okay, and that's the end of the report.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Add on for just a second,
Yeah.
because we had a little discussion of this earlier. So the Chamber of Commerce hasn't received funding for the downtown streets events for a few years. They got 10,000 in the past. They've gotten in-kind services from the city for closing the street, police and fire. As you may or may not be aware, the Chamber of Commerce is not in a great financial situation yet. These four events, the 3 downtown streets and the Mariachi Festival, are considered some of the premium special events in Hayward during the year. Because our needs assessment survey said what the community wanted, we have talked about this ad nauseum tonight. Open space and trails for facilities, pools, picnic areas, and on the other side of the house, large community special events, health and wellness programs. This is the priority. So I scratched my head and basically said, you know what? Why should we re-event 10 new community events? We can get that screen and we can do the stuff we do and have more pocket stuff. But for us to really do would be to leverage these events better and give them our funding and our support and be associated with them in the community legitimately, not like, hey, we put a banner up over there, but we're actually the funders for downtown streets now. There was a point where I saw a flyer that said presented by HARD, and I said, I don't want that. When you see our stage, you see our rock wall, you see other things, you'll know that we're part of that. We'll be on there as a sponsor with the city and the chamber. I did not feel like I wanted to, I'm not buying downtown streets for us. I just want to fund it for a few years. And so the plan is this is a 1-year funding agreement. We'll see how they do. It's not long-term. Next year, we might come back or not come back because it could be 60 and in my threshold. And then the following year, hopefully it'll be 20 or 40. And this is conversations with the new president of the chamber and who I really trust and I know from other fundraising and venture experience at my kids' school and other places. So I believe it's the right thing to do. I believe it's going to raise the quality of the downtown streets, which some people love and some people are like, meh. You know, it's a lot of people down there. And I'm just hoping that we can help polish that up and attract people to downtown Hayward and really kind of give the community and the merchants and everybody in the chamber something to be proud of and build on. And since we have the resources to do it, that is not special event money we pulled from somewhere else. It's in the GM's office every year. We used it for the 80th and more last year. We just decided that would be a good cause to put it towards this year. So.
I do have a question before I go. Yeah. So are we going to advertise it on our website or any other?
We're going to advertise the crap out of it as soon as we officially become a sponsor when you approve the money tonight. Until you approve it, I can't put anything out there because it's not real until you 5 wonderful people smile and say, yay.
Okay. Any comments or questions? I guess you started first. So I'm going to pick on you first.
No, I have no comments.
Okay,
I think it's
because I thought you wanted to talk. Paul?
You think we can invite?
You have to speak into the mic, unfortunately, Director Hodges.
Pardon?
You have to speak into the mic, unfortunately.
Yeah, I got a good helper right
That's why
here.
we put you.
Is there a chance we can invite Lucy to come to one of our meetings to maybe thank us?
I can't invite someone to come somewhere to thank me, but I guarantee you that when I text her tonight and tell her, and Nicole texts her, because she's on the chamber, we put Nicole on the chamber board too. We're really trying to support downtown Hayward, the business district, money, sales tax, all these things. Like I'm not letting anybody buy anything from out of the district anymore. Has to come from someone in the boundaries. So we're really trying to refocus. Quit having Amazon boxes show up every day, blah, blah, blah. But I'm guarantee you that if you give them this money, they will come, and they might even bring us some cookies.
Director Hatcher, you have a question? No. Director Lim, no. I don't have any questions.
And you guys should request a free booth to recruit kids at these downtown events.
Good idea. Good idea. Okay, can I have a motion on this?
Yeah, I'll move to accept 10.2.
I'll second.
Okay. Moved by Director Hatcher, second by Director Hodges. Please vote.
I do want to thank Nicole Roa for working with our general counsel to put this contract together, because there wasn't much of a sample out there. And then I also want to thank her because I believe that Exhibit A and the scope of services and how everything's outlined and who's going to do what and what they get. She did a really good job on that too. So thank you, Nicole.
Great. Okay. So that's the formal agenda. Item number 11, other business brief informational items. You want to start? Do you want to start, Paul? Or are you ready, or you want to start last? Okay. Let me go on the left side. Director Hatcher.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. President. I did sit in the AC Transit meeting. It was an informational meeting, one of two at the Cherryland Community Center. It's tough. We understand how important AC Transit, the largest transit district in probably the state or beyond, and they are in this year $46 million deficit, which they're using their reserves to get them out of this year. You had all of their general manager along with their finance manager and the rest of their top of their team talk about what they're trying to look at, but they have really no clear ability to make up the gap because they're using reserve money this year. Next year they go into $76 million gap, and so it's tough. To hear that, and I just was glad I was able to sit in and meet some of the folks there, and but there was no clear path to be able to help fix that.
Can I, real quick, they did a lot of work on rerouting and trying to be more efficient and running buses better time, but I'm sure that's a drop in the bucket at the end of the day.
Yeah,
You still have a workforce you want to try to keep intact, and fleets that need to be serviced and fuel that needs to be bought, but I appreciate you being there at that.
Yeah, no, they talked a lot about their technology and their investment in infrastructure. I mean, they've got vehicles and staff members, so those 80 plus. As you know, with any agency, 75 to 80% of the money goes to staffing and getting equipment in place. So they have the materials and infrastructure. It's just the pure numbers don't really pencil out. So I think keeping an eye. I'm not saying we can help per se, but I think being aware of the issue in our community. I did attend the Week Spark event where the consultants were there chit-chatting with the folks in the park. So it's great just to see the engagement there and some of the discussion points. Also stopped by Ashton Zocalo for the summer camp extravaganza and seeing them give away the camp. For the free camp for the year. It was good to see Zocalo kind of active and really vibrant in that community. So that was awesome. And I do just I haven't asked just because I've been so excited and proud of the San Lorenzo Creek project and, getting the money and everything. But I just, it's been a couple years now, and I don't need a comment tonight, but I just wanted to kind of get that moving and put it in a position to where we can really, I know there's a lot of moving parts. I know, the funding, what we believe is still there, but really I'd like to kind of put a fire under that to, to take a look at the staff level, what we could do to kind of make that a movement issue. It may not be able to happen, but I think it's critically important. That is, when you look at a lifeline through our community, bikeable, walkable, safe routes to schools, parks, downtown. I think it has too many critical components that would open up so many more avenues for what we're working on and all the projects. So I just, not an update, but just, I try not to use this as a fire setter, but I want to look at it in a very positive way to be like, hey, let's what we can do to, at any level to move that forward.
Yeah, staff will look into that, and we probably would bring you some kind of just update on where we are. Like,
Okay.
I know everyone's worried about the funds. I know there's other things, so we can easily have our competent trails program people put that
Oh, yeah.
together for you.
No, it's awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. Director Lamb?
Sure. Thank you. So went to a fair number of things, which is great, and I'll talk about those, but it also meant, similar to Director Hatcher, that I got some feedback from the community that I'll share also. So in no particular order, the Weeks event, I really appreciated that as well. And the one thing that kind of came out of that and the Ashland Zocalo was just taking a look at like the voter information about what are the top languages that are requested in the community, and then, having translation of that, of materials in that. But the Weeks was really good conversation, really appreciated that. We'll be sharing that survey. If anybody has input on Weeks Park, that survey is open for another month. The Countdown to Summer event, again, as Director Hatcher said, such a lively, wonderful event. And I met somebody who could not say enough nice things about how important that activation and that opportunity is in that community. So many, many kudos again for that. Two suggestions that they had, and the person that I spoke with, and Adrian spoke with him as well, he's a member of the mosque across the street, and every day they're out there playing soccer, and the ball could be running into the street, which is Mission Boulevard. And so a suggestion of maybe something that could help prevent, visually, kids see a ball and they start running and the parents are right there. But it's also because of the way that the cars are, do we need a little fence? I won't get into the details, but something to help think that through so that maybe it prevents balls from running into the street as easily. The other thing that they see are right about 7 or 8 o'clock, start seeing people using or drinking in the park. And so again, could the community come out at that time and be in the park and be a positive presence? What kind of partnership could we do? So just some brainstorming thoughts, but I know there will be more conversations. I went to the Kelly, and it's Community Education Livability Initiative, I think it is. It's an environmental education. I know Thomas has been active in that, and they had a celebration last week, and it was exciting to see that partnership that has brought projects into the parks. Some of the student interns from that project worked on our parks, and so they were really appreciative of the partnership of HARD. And then received a question from the community about registration for camp. They love our camps. They're excited about it. And they were wondering about only being able to register one family member at a time. And so just kind of taking a look at how that might work. And the last one was we had family visiting the last week, and I took my first walk on the new Ruby Street path, and it was lovely and it's beautiful. And I was just wondering what's happening with the sort of signage and that dirt area in the front. I know that's ours. So today or some other time, kind of an update on what's happening with that. But such great work. Really appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Director Rosen?
All right. I'll start with carpet. I'll start with the big one first. I want to congratulate our staff. I felt very proud of the fact that we could, we won 3 more awards as well as, so those were from Carpet as well as 1 more from Capri. And after talking to some of the other park districts and some of the things that I was hearing from some of our local park districts as well as around the state, we're doing really well. And I think this reflects on staff and not just competency, but I think people are doing things not just punching a clock. I think it shows that people are going above and beyond, and I think it's great to be rewarded for it. And that conference was, I was there with Director Hodges and General Manager Wheeler, and that conference had some breakouts and some trainings that I thought were very valuable, and made some good networking connections. It was good. I did go to unincorporated services last week, and the item that I was going to be commenting on was postponed. It was the last thing. I was there till 10:30, and then our thing got pushed aside. That was a lot of fun. Along with Director Hatcher, went to the Hayward Youth Commission meeting this last week where we met with there were 61 candidates for the slots, and I have to say, again, I mean,
Say no to them all.
well, I mean, it's one of those things. There's 2 things that happened last week that made me feel just really proud and positive and put me in a good mood. Sometimes lately it's been negative about a lot of things that I think in life. And then you go to this and you see what the next generation is going to be like. I mean, from middle school kids to high school kids to people that are already going to Chabot that are so passionate, looking for ways to, go further. It's not about personal improvement. It's about repeatedly, I kept hearing about they want to give back to the community. They want to learn about the community. They want to help the community. They want to find ways that they can contribute and lend their voice to discussions. It's very uplifting to see where the future is going to be and where we're going. We had some tough calls on a couple of those last choices, so that was really good. And the other thing that made me very uplifting was the Hard Foundation concert with Patrick Landenza and actually Director Landon and Director Hatcher were also there. And he is not just a musician. And it's not just a storyteller, but he wears his heart on his sleeve and he's passionate. And I mean, we are so lucky to have this man in our community. He told stories that were connections about Hayward and, even though he's from San Lorenzo, we talked about how many ways that Hart has shaped his life. And then he related it to music. And it was a lot of stories of love, which was really good to hear. I did go to Weeks. I got there late, so that didn't work out for me. But I do have a question to actually build on some of this. Just curious. I'm not pushing super hard. I just want to know the status on the bathroom at Parsons Park, because I keep hearing from people about that, and I don't have any additional movement. I keep saying it's coming, but I don't know if we've done any construction drawings, or because we haven't seen anything for approval other than the spreadsheet, and I just wanted to make sure that it's still moving forward and that we can maybe have an update on that. And I think that's it of the primary things. Yeah. So thanks.
Thank you. Director Hodges, thank you.
Yeah, I won't bore you. I'd make it short. We had.
I'm sorry.
No, I'm glad I let you tell it. We did. Sunday, we had a kickoff at our Bailey Ranch community, and I was asked to come up and pick out the tickets for the gifts that we were giving away. And I jokingly said, how many people, raise your hands if you, everybody likes, our parking, our park. And they all raised their hand and I said, well, if there's anything else you want to talk about, and I should have stopped there. They want a basketball courts up at, is it, can't think of it.
I don't remember either.
It's, no, it's right at the foot of going up to, Lewis Park, yeah.
The basketball court at Jacksonville?
Yeah, well, I suggested,
Why not? It's got so much flat, beautiful space. Yeah.
well, that's what I told them, but I said, it's all, you'd ruin the views, but there's that one spot just east of the park that we just,
So one little crappy weeded area behind the restroom. And
Yeah.
playground you're talking about, right?
yeah,
Okay. You just talk about it and I write it down. And that's how this, unfortunately, that's how this portion of the program has to work.
great. So the end of my stories.
Anything else? Oh,
Mr. President, may I have the floor one more time?
sure.
And thank you, Director Rosen, for that 7-hour interview process with the Hayward Youth Commission. I am amiss to have not mentioned it in my first go around, so I had to come back to it because I've kept myself on that committee for close to 7 years. And the words that come from our youth are the words that I echo throughout the year. And, each of those interviews, had a snippet of, as you mentioned, there's some care and consideration. And I think, the key components that rise up there is that they're not heard. There's nothing for them to do. But there's depression and there's, when they're standing up in front of their adults that, that they don't always have the best ability to be able to talk in front of and tell us those so clearly, and to say that they're not heard. And, they don't have to believe us when we say we're listening. We have to show them that we're listening. And I think that the way that HARD and the city and the school district have elevated the youth commissioners as ambassadors for our district and for the city and for the school district, it shows that we're not looking at minimums anymore. Everything is to bring things up to minimum sometimes, and we're exceeding that with having the youth as our ambassadors on that level. And it, I have a lot of faith, in the youth when they're calling themselves, saying the biggest issue when I asked them is social media. It's or I can't live without a phone. Society has told us we can't live without these items, and so they see the issues pretty clearly. And I think that that's our job to watch and to provide these platforms. And it is the most difficult decision to be able to choose not all of them and have 140 members on the youth commission. But I want to thank my colleague because we, after almost 7 hours, did it pretty quickly. So thank you for the floor again on that.
Thank you. I just want to mention a few things. So I was part of a video that was filmed for Open Road, and it was aired, I guess, while I was in Hawaii. So I don't know if you've seen the video. I think staff has. I was wondering if staff could provide a link to all the board members, and it just talks about HASPA, and I had a chance to start it off and the video about it. So it's interesting.
Playing the dump when you're a kid.
Well, I didn't play, but I kind of gave a little background, so it was kind of interesting. So you'll see yours truly on that. I was at the planning commission regarding the data center they're going to do, and I was representing HASPA in this case. But anyway, it worked out where we got another, I believe, $300,000. So a total of 500. Yeah. But it goes to HASPA. It doesn't go directly to HARD, but I believe we can pressure HASPA with our influence to get most of that for the interpretive center. So I believe it was semi-win. It was good. I was at the Weeks Park as well. There are people who use the park who aren't just hanging out. I mean, there were people walking dogs and walking, So it is, especially on a weekend, it's actually pretty well used, but you could tell that the potential, it's not fully meeting its potential. So hopefully they got a lot of good information. Basically, what they were doing is going up to people and asking, surveying them what was needed. Went to Zocalo as well. There was a lot of people. I was there when it just first opened. I don't know how many more people came, but it seemed to be pretty crowded.
I thought you'd bring your caricature that you had done at the event.
Oh, I should have brought it. Yeah, that was fun. Yeah. So yeah, Adrian got me in front of the cartoon artist and got me to pose. So yeah, we could put it up. We could put it up there. That'd be fun. But anyway, and I just have a question. Any feedback from PG&E? Those guys haven't done shit over there. I mean, excuse my language, but it's just a disaster, you know.
We have worked with them, and both of our largest concerns, power at San Lorenzo Park and those two vaults, should be done by the end of June.
Okay, thank you. The other thing, I went by Unity Park, and I've had a lot of interest in Unity Park, and so it looks like it's almost ready to go, and hopefully, I told everyone it would be end of June, but
I'm happy to continue to answer your questions and give you feedback. This is really not what this portion
Yeah,
of the
okay,
meeting's
but anyway.
for. But I'm told that sometime around the middle of June, that park will be accessible, and then we're gonna evaluate how the plants and everything's going, and we should be able to open that very soon.
that's wonderful to know. So I got back from Hawaii. I was in Hawaii for 20 days, and what I saw, and when I've been to a parks, there it seemed like Portland parties are the thing now. So they're putting up a lot of, the Portland Loo, whatever they call it, with the is that what they call them? You know, basically it's yeah. No, they're not automated. They're basically they look like a porta potty with a toilet connection, and then to explore that.
Okay,
That's all. It's because they seem to be a fairly inexpensive for a small park. Yeah. Anyway, that's all I just wanted to mention. It seemed like that was they were putting them in over there, and they seemed to be popular there. Otherwise, Hawaii was nice as well for other reasons. But and that's the end of my report. With no other questions, anything else for staff, please?
not much of a report, thank you.
Good evening, Honorable Board of Directors. Chris Peterson, Parks and Facilities Maintenance Director. Just one quick update. We're finalizing the contract for the painting of the carriage house at Meek Estate. Hoping to get that started next week, possibly the week after, and keep going on that and get it done. So if you see scaffolds or anything going up, that's the reason.
Great, thank you.
Good evening, Honorable Board of Directors, Mike Mastroni, Recreation Manager. You mentioned a few of the events that we had over the weekend, but they're at the Countdown to Summer event at Ashland Zocalo. We had 208 people that checked in with us. So that was a great event. We also had our Aguacate Day incubation project at the DMT on Saturday with about 150 people in attendance at that event.
Great.
And then for some upcoming events, this upcoming Saturday, June 7th, we have our VIP at Meek Park, as well as the Hayward Dance Festival at the DMT. And then our first movie night will be on Friday, June 13th at Mount Eden Park, and we're showing Moana 2.
Okay, great. Okay, so thank you staff for your reports and anything. Oh, Megan, I'm sorry, I didn't see you jump in, sorry.
Sure it's working.
Yeah.
Again, yeah, so Mission and Maddox will be done by mid-month, and we're starting to talk about what opening event might look like. Again, we did have the week's community meeting number 1 at the park this past weekend. The community survey is up till the end of June, so we've collected 58 responses so far. And then we're working on the energy efficiency project, putting up the solar canopies in Kennedy Park. So you'll see that going up now, and then we'll be putting the canopy in at Oliver Sports Park in September.
Great, good news. Okay.
Good evening, Board of Directors. Nicole Espinoza Roa, Assistant to the General Manager and Public Information Officer. All of the dates coming up will come out to you in your General Manager's newsletter that will be coming out on Friday this week. Also, you should have received in your email the date and time for the barbecue for the concerts in the park. That's all I have at this time.
Okay, great. Well said. Okay, with that, I'm gonna close the meeting. Thank you, everyone.